All right, looks like we're getting started here. I'm just waiting to see myself on the monitor here, but I'm assuming you can hear and see me. So welcome everybody. Hope you're doing well. I thought I'd bring Apollo up here today, especially. I think I saw on YouTube of all places that it's like National Dogs Day. So I think every day should be National Dogs Day, but Apollo is here to send all of you some love and some light. Hope you're doing well, and welcome to your monthly reading. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. We're going to be taking a look at the next 6 to 8 weeks, focusing on all of the potential to come through. And I'm going to let this little sleepyhead get back into his bed. So, be right back. All right. How is everybody today? Hopefully you're great. It's good to see you. Let's talk a little bit about the schedule for today. And when you can see me, actually let me know, because I'm not showing up on my monitor on the side here. But if I need to repeat anything, I will. We're basically going to begin with channeled messages as we always do, and that comes to me in dreams and meditations, and also in the research that I do. And today we have a really interesting totem that came through, and it's basically the record, or the vinyl record as we would call it now. So let me just hit refresh on the side here, and then we'll begin and get started. So one moment, please. Okay, good. I can see myself on the side. It wasn't showing up. I wanted to make sure you could see me. I always have a live monitor on the side to make sure you can see me. So hopefully you had a chance to see Apollo at the beginning. If not, I'll bring him up again at the midpoint. So again, as I was saying, we're going to start with channeled messages, then we'll get into the Celtic Cross and take a look at all of the energy and information that's coming through for the next 6 to 8 weeks. The whole reason I do readings is so that you can exercise free will and basically make the most out of the month ahead. And if you watched my daily today, the card was interesting. It was the 10 of Swords. And I featured this in our presentation too, because it actually fits in with the totem. A lot of times we have to go through a challenge in our life to understand what it is that we want and what we don't want. And knowing what you don't want is just as valuable as having everything go sort of like perfectly well. The highs and the lows give us context. If we only had highs, we would never appreciate them. When we have the sort of lower energies in our life and those lower dips, then we appreciate opportunity, abundance, happiness, all of that jazz when it comes through. So just a little bit of an additional message about that. Okay, before I get started, please, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I'm starting to do some new videos. In fact, I think I picked the 1st of next month, so Thursday of next week. We'll be doing the Q&A, which is a thank you to all of you for helping me hit a quarter milestone, basically 325,000. So all the members and Patreon supporters have submitted some questions. I'll take a few live as well, so just tune in on that day. But I'm going to also start to drop some shorter ones. I think, time permitting, I may do like a mini read tomorrow, maybe like a 7-minute new moon reading. And so occasionally I'll drop some smaller videos like that. So it's a good time to subscribe as I experiment with formats a bit. You can also follow me on social media. All of my handles are here. It's basically my name. No alterations, no special characters, no additional accounts, by the way. And speaking of that, if anybody says, hey, this is my backup account and I want to offer you a reading, it is not me. I don't offer private readings. I don't use direct messages, and anyone that does that is suspect. If you'd like to show love and support, you can do it through a live reading like this, or through a built-in feature in any social media platform, like badges on Instagram or stickers on TikTok, and here it's going to be super stickers and super chat. So be smart about that, but I always like to remind folks so that, like a record, you guys will remember that if somebody reaches out or tries to add you as a friend. Okay, let's get to today's messages. Oops, not the expanded. We're going to look at the channeled messages. The channeled messages, again, come to me in dreams. And this morning when I woke up, I couldn't stop thinking of a vinyl record, an old-fashioned record. So I wanted to do some research on that and then talk about it in today's reading. All right, so let me pull up the presentation and we'll discuss. Okay, so a phonograph, we call it vinyl now, but it actually had a lot of different mediums that it was made on first. That's what we're going to be discussing today. Other things that it's called is like an LP or an album. But basically, in the most of the 20th century, until maybe the 80s when compact discs, there were some other things like tapes and 8-tracks that were also popular, but the LP stuck around throughout the 20th century, and then it made a resurgence recently in the 21st century. It began, I was like, when was the first phonograph made? 1877, Thomas Edison invented it, but it was used, the medium that he used was, what did I put here? Foil. So it can only be used a few times before it broke down. And later wax cylinders, and actually I think a lot of the archival libraries are trying to preserve some of those because the wax ones can melt and they can also degrade. Later, we have the polyvinyl chloride or vinyl, which is what we're all used to. I guess the first recording was Mary Had a Little Lamb, which is kind of cool. And some of those wax ones, you can just, it was like the first recordable one, so people could actually record them. So there's recordings of voices and things on that too. So a very important invention because it allowed for us to capture sound. And it kind of reminds us of the importance of writing or recording. It's called a record. And if I were to think of a couple of cards in tarot that would be connected to that, it would be the 8 of Pentacles, the 3 of Pentacles, the Ace of Swords, any of the swords basically, because it's about communication. I chose the 8 of Pentacles here because it's about really doing work that you care about. And I really, you can kind of see he's carving things into the coins right now. So I kind of geeked out a little bit about the power of language. And I think it's important to talk about this because we don't think about how important it is. What if you were feeling and thinking things, but you couldn't communicate them? Sometimes I wish my dog could communicate directly to me. I've learned to read his body language because you have to. And I can kind of sense things with him, but wouldn't it be so much easier if we could telepathically communicate a little bit more with everyone? We once had the capacity for telepathy. It will come back, but we've gotten kind of denser in our lives, and we've lost touch with that ability. But language is a really good thing, though. It's so powerful that this is why you will see places where, and if like 1984, if we look at a dystopian fiction, for example, language became dumbed down and the ability to read books was banned. And if you look at certain dystopian novels, they'll burn books and they'll ban language, because when you have the capacity to read and think, especially if you read something that is counter to what's expected, then people can't be in power because you have free will. And that's what this planet's about, right? So at the core of everything, the most important thing, I think, as a child that we can learn is language. Words are powerful. The letters, the words, the sounds, and then putting them onto paper, that is magic, and speaking it aloud. So that is why certain things move us. You say something and it has an effect on something. If that's not magic, I don't know what it is. So understand that if you're trying to change your life, you can change the words that you use to describe yourself. You can change the thoughts that you choose to think about the future. Because when you start to change this record, and then this record, and then this record, it starts to change how people react to you. And so reprogramming, resetting the record, and what you're putting in your head is important. Alanis Morissette had an old song called Tapes. I think it was on one of her, it was like an anthology album that she had. Or maybe it was like maybe two or three albums after her big sort of album. But anyway, it's a good song where she's talking about all the thoughts that go on in her head, like old-fashioned tapes that are running. And we have to reprogram them. Thoughts of being unworthy or underprepared or not being pretty or handsome enough or whatever. And so this is a chance for you to start to make your own record, okay? This is also leading into the next slide here, which is, first of all, creating an action plan, vision boards, also very effective, putting those power words on them, sharing your findings, sharing your ideas, knowing that your thoughts and words can travel, and to that end, I really think that in next month, September, and whatever remains here of August when you see this, it's all about expansion for you. Distribution, dissemination, broadcasting, sharing, it's all part of this totem. And it's also about birthing and releasing. And so for some of us, that's the challenge. We've held on to something for a long time, and we want to keep that sort of safe security blanket. It's scary to go out into the world and try something different, right? Things like traveling, going to school, training, learning are all a part of this as well. So there may be an opportunity for some of you to even combine these things. Maybe you're traveling for school. Between my graduate and undergraduate, I decided to do an internship abroad, travel abroad program, which was a lot of fun. I think all of us should have a chance to live in a different country for a little bit. I was in the United Kingdom for 6 or 7 months and had such a great experience. I mean, there was challenges. I figured out that I didn't want to do the path that I was on, right? So I think that's why it's great for us to take gap years or to take internships between school and actually going into our career or even starting school, because you can figure out if you really want to go down that path. I also think it's good to be an outsider because I don't have a really marked accent, but I do have an American accent. So every time I was introduced, like if there were British people, I was like, oh yeah, and this is the American. And when you went places, people would see you as a tourist or as an outsider. I was there in the late 90s when it might have been less, like now the Americans are not as seen as, as sort of with welcome arms. It was a little bit easier then, but the accent marks you. And I think that people, a lot of people in different countries, if you don't get a chance to travel, you don't understand what it's like to be judged by looks or sounds. So this is also a reminder that we need to let go of that, because even though we may all be a little bit different, this is just like a shirt that you're wearing. This is just one way of expressing yourself. It doesn't actually summarize the soul. We all have a very similar soul energy. So it's cool. If we had more experience living in different places, we would be more loving and accepting. So I think we should all encourage one another to do that more, right? Find a new groove, quite literally here. So as you know, records have little bumps on them. The needle goes across those grooves, and as it does that, it creates sound. It's analog. And what I like about this, it's very much connected to the Eight of Cups, is that there's a finite amount of times you can do something. The Eight of Cups can represent not just someone from the past, not just a repeated opportunity, but it can sometimes show a cycle that repeats until we learn our lesson, and then we break it, just like a record. Every record that you buy, because of the materials that they're created on, basically, they're going to break down at some point. Even compact discs will, because they're made of plastic, and plastic won't last forever. So all recording media, I should say, they have finite lifetimes. Even if you have like a solid state drive or a hard drive or whatever, all of these things contain electronics which break down. So all things that can be played eventually have to be re-recorded or have to be set anew. You have to do something different. So it's time for a new record. It's time for a new groove. And Aquarius, this is your month to get your groove on. It'll probably be my title for the for the headline here, because I think that's a really cool approach here. Because a groove is something that you can get into. Thank you, Madonna. It's something that you can also feel connected to. If you repeat anything too long, it gets tiresome. So find something in your life that gives you the sense of invigoration, curiosity, and I think this is the time for you to find that groove, okay? So beautiful energies here, and what a cool totem. I usually go towards nature, but sometimes it's an object, and I couldn't get the record out of my head. It kept spinning in my head. I'm like, all right, we're gonna do a record today, aren't we? All right, so let's get into the Celtic Cross. Let's see what you chose for me. I did put a poll up today so that you could vote. Lightseer's deck wins by a landslide, so that's an easy one here, 44%. I did put a couple other choices up there, but thanks for voting. So we're gonna end that poll. I'm gonna get set up here, and I'd just like to say welcome to everybody. It's good to see you. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on here. Again, we're going to move in now to the Celtic Cross. Let's give the cards a good shuffle and explore what's going on. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully you're doing well and feeling good about the weekend and the month ahead. Let's give this one more shuffle and then we'll begin. You can always use this for your sun, rising, and moon signs. In the latter portion of the reading, I'll actually be taking a look at sun, rising, and moon, so stick around for that. There's our Ten of Swords. I actually think I might have forgotten something. I'm going to set the cards up. I forgot to show the last slide, but we will do that because it's a nice segue into this, because I remember there was one more slide. And it was this one. And it was this card. So you weren't even biased by the fact that I selected a card from this deck, which is cool. We like synchronicities. And that's also the card that, like I said, was featured this day of the reading, so that's cool. Got a double card for that. Very good to come up in wealth, abundance. The rabbit, we like that. If you ever look at the Queen of Pentacles, there's usually a little rabbit, little white rabbit near her foot. Okay, so let me just get everything centered here. Zoom out just a bit so we can see this better. We can take a quick break and look at that Ten of Swords slide, and then we'll get into this. So, can't believe I forgot that last slide. All right. So, synchronicities abound. So, I actually pulled this card as the energy that was crossing today's. So, here we go. Self-care and a new direction. So, basically, a record won't play with a dull needle. If you're feeling mentally exhausted or physically exhausted, it's time to make a change. And that was really the big message that was coming through. This is maybe a different, because I'm reading for your sign, I've got some different information. Sometimes we have to get to that point of exhaustion to decide enough is enough. So decide, what's your plan B? What's your next thing? Focus on the positive, focus on what inspires you, and move away from whatever is exhausting you. Remember, you can't please everybody. You can't be everything to everyone. This is the best Ten of Swords. It's from the Light Seer's deck because she's already moved on. She's moved beyond the drama, and she's like, I've had enough. I'm going to decide to, to focus on something that is worthy of my time and my energy. Okay, with that being said, let's look at your catalyst card, and then we'll focus on the placement of that Ten of Swords. So we have the vision coming through. I talked about the power of using like a vision board, maybe even some motivational thoughts or words in your life. Definitely that's coming through with this. Hold that vision close. The Two of Wands is powerful because the main character in the Two of Wands is holding a globe, grasping onto one of the two wands, and basically comparing his life to what he's projecting and what he's trying to accomplish. And he's looking for those signs and symbols around him. So he's manifesting, he's awake. Sorry, one of Apollo's hairs just floated through the air. He's awake, he's aware, and he's focusing on what's around him. So it's a very present energy, holding the thought, looking at the environment. And this is also reminding you of the ability to create. We see an egg at the center. If you look at this closely, then we see sort of like a snake going around the egg, and then we have these two hands on top of that. It can also sort of be like a belly that we would see in the Empress card, but what I see here is the ability to kind of go within. So let me see if there's anything else that I want to focus on with that. I think that's enough. So focus on the energy of creation, and remember that every day you get to revise, evolve, and grow that vision a little bit more, okay? Let's look back at the table here and see what your center card is. Someone said they were getting married. The Ten of Pentacles is very much connected to marriage. It's a great card for, it's reversed, so we'll talk about that, but let's just look at it upright for a second. This is community, connections, contracts, marriage, abundance in a very high form. It's pretty good. The card reverse can mean that there is all of these sort of energies tapping into you. So you could be doing things really well in your life so that your boss is asking you to work extra days or extra hours. You could be in high demand in social spheres. People want to hang out with you more. So you're getting invitations to almost too many events. I know for myself, this past week has been that way. I feel like every single day I've had not only the work that I do for you, but then one social invitation that I've said yes to because I felt the expanding energy, but I need a day. And that's going to probably be Saturday evening where I just need to like rebuild a little bit. So give yourself one day to just sort of take it easy, and then put some fixed times on how much you're willing to spend with others. Keep it to an hour or something, or a half an hour. You don't have to give away all of your time and energy, okay? So we see a lot of opportunity, and you should say yes to as much as you can, but you have limits. Just like the phonograph is great. It has a finite amount of energy that it can kind of put out there in the universe. So do you in any given day. You get to be a new record each day, but that same metaphor, we can kind of stretch it to work for this. It's interesting, tens can partner up. So what we see is a lot of success. By the way, this is really good for money and business. But then I see the burnout card, and it was interesting. I almost forgot to mention the burnout card that I created, but now we have it. The simple thing here is to know when enough is enough. So if I could go back and give my younger self some advice, particularly when I used to work for companies that expected the sun and moon, I would just say, at a certain point, the day is done, the project's done, and if they're not happy with it, they can bring in new help. They can realize that they had unrealistic expectations. I would, of course, communicate that beforehand and just say, this isn't practical. I can only do this much. I need some help. Or, I've already worked 10 hours. I'm going home and getting some sleep. I had one company, and I quickly decided to leave the company after this, but they expected me to work several all-nighters, what happened was on the way home, I almost got into a car accident because I was falling asleep. I'd been up all night. So I just thought, this isn't worth it. What am I doing? This was back in the time of like internet startups. And I thought, it's not realistic. It's not worth it. They can buy me dinner all they want, but if I'm not sleeping and I'm not seeing anybody and I don't have a life outside of like doing this work for a week solid, this isn't worth it. And here's the thing, I wasn't connected to it as much. I was just doing it because it was a job at the time. So we can burn ourselves out. Before that happens, just say no. I'll come in, this version of me, which is a few years older and wiser, I would just say, I've done all I can do today. I'll be in early tomorrow. I'll come in an hour early, and I'll get a head start on everything. Each day is a new day. You can only do so much in a certain day, and if you burn the candle at both ends, the wick is eventually just going to burn out, and the wax is going to be depleted. There's only so much. So know your limits, hold the limits, and usually someone else is trying to make up for their own lack of judgment. So if I were to look back in time, it was because a project and or account manager underestimated the resources that were necessary, and the scope was too high, and the expectations weren't managed for the partner. So we were trying to make up for a lack of judgment there. And that's not my fault, that's their fault, right? So burning me out doesn't help me because I still have a life to live and I have things to do. That was on the project manager. So the older version of me would just say, we can't do it. You're gonna have to go back and say that. Or you need to get more help. Or we have to take a loss and we need to bring on more help internally. And then that person has to figure out what to do about that, find a efficiency somewhere else. There was a better choice than burning out someone the difference was I was young and I was, accommodating. So you don't have to do it. You don't have to do everything everyone asks you to do. And working really, really hard until the point of exhaustion, mental and physical, it's not worth it. Your life is valuable. Thank God it was like very early in the morning. I think I left work at 4 a.m. that day, which is ridiculous, 4 or 5. So I just fell asleep and I almost went through a stop sign. And I thought, never again. And I didn't let that happen again. It's not safe. And I say that because we see the tower here. So some of you, like me, had a close call where you just knew that it wasn't smart. The Tower is a reset button. So is the Ten of Swords. And I think in the daily, I mentioned the Tower and the Ten of Swords together, because sometimes we only need one, sometimes we need two. So it feels like some of you have already had the beginning understanding that something didn't suit you or you need to make a change. Don't wait for this Tower to really get into full effect again, because it could come back. You don't want that. One thing that I want to say with the Tower card, I actually don't mind either Ten of Swords or Tower in a read. This can show disorganization. It doesn't have to be pain. It doesn't have to be chaos. It can just be a mess. So sometimes when I read this, I would say clean up your messes. It could be the mess in your house. It could be the mess on your desk. It could be your schedule. It's all over the place. One piece of advice I would say is just clean up the agenda, figure out what you want to focus on, and then be kinder to your body and be kinder with your schedule. Don't work too hard. Those are the main messages there. The Tower reversed is a chance to, just as like I was saying, like find your new groove, this is like surf into the energy of change. That's how I like to look at the Tower, as a wave. And you're a surfer, and you either are going to wipe out or you're going to surf through it and have a great experience. So you can always surf through the Tower. It's just a matter of seeing the necessary change and going with it rather than fighting it and waiting for all that stuff to happen. Okay? The main thing now that is either helping or hindering you is, where's your mind and your focus at? The Seven of Cups is a card of contemplation, of brainstorming, of ideation. It can also be a card of confusion. So some of you could just be in a place where everything should be good. This is for my fellow people out there that are working in an office. So like the company's solid, but the culture may be not so good. Maybe it's a little toxic. Maybe the leadership, it's all over the place. And what I see here is people trying to figure out who's in charge, what are we supposed to do, how do we fix this mess, etc. With the Seven of Cups, for those of you that are not working, or you're self-employed like I am, or you're a student, this is really about figuring out what you want and what you're trying to do. Because unlike the previous group, you have a lot more power in figuring out that next step. For the folks that are in an office, you can ask questions, you can bring things up. This is saying, I'm not clear on this, I need advice. And everybody can do that. You can talk to a mentor, a counselor, a friend, and say, what do you think? What's your take on this? Give me some feedback. And that's really what this should be. It should be curious, it should be open, and eventually it should be decisive, the Seven of Cups. But it has to explore options before it's able to land on something solid, okay? You're being asked to make a choice. We have the Two of Pentacles, and it's reversed. The Two of Pentacles, unlike the Six, doesn't allow us to kind of like dabble in this and in that, and it's basically saying, you're stretched too thin. One of these things needs to be released so you can focus. You always have an ace with this card in disguise, so we just let go of one, and then you have your ace. One thing is more compelling, more fruitful, more fun than the other, and you're going to put your energy into that first. And if you can't make a full investment, you're going to do something like a 70-30 split, or an 80-20, where most of the energy is going to be in one and a very little bit on the side. That way you can maintain focus and finish. Do less, but do it better, is what I would usually say with the Two of Pentacles as well. Okay, and I said that with another card this week. I can't remember which one, but it's a good message. And the younger version of me used to try to make everyone happy and do everything, and I would sacrifice health and happiness in order to appease others. I don't do that anymore because when you get older, it's just not worth it. It's not sustainable. And if you've got a lot to do, you've got to be smart about your limits. So take a page from my experiences and learn that lesson younger on, so that you can do more with your life. You can have more fun. It's worth it. So that's the one thing that I would go back and tell my younger self to do. So you're going to make a choice. You're going to stick with that choice. And then we have two fantastic cards here. This is so exciting, Aquarius, for you, because some of you have been through some stuff. We got the Tower, got the Ten of Swords. Some of you are trying to figure some things out with the Seven of Cups and the Two of Pentacles. But this is good, and these are great. And this is also fantastic, because every one of these is a star. The Hermit is a hidden star, and the Sun is a star, and the Star is a star. So what we're starting to see here is your energy. There's a little bit of disbelief, but you're going to get there. This is you investing in yourself, starting to feel your power, starting to feel your groove. This is you wondering, like, is it okay for me to share this with others? Yes, it's okay. This can be I like to call it a twin star relationship. I'm so tired of the word twin flame because it's a better energy. But you could have a deep karmic relationship, a twin star relationship coming through, a really great opportunity, and it's you and someone else. Or it's people vibing off the radiance that you're putting out there. So do you see it? I hope you see it, your capacity. We'll take it one thing at a time, but just a little fast forward. Your near future and outcome are quite literally stellar because these are stars. Okay, so no hyperbole there, just describing the actual cards. The Sun card in reverse. This is a chance for you to heal the inner child. This is a chance for you to feel your energy, to vibe off of your true self. And for many of us, we have to go back and fix what our parents couldn't do. And there is a freedom that happens when you realize that, yes, your parents play a role in your life, but you don't need them to be whole. You don't need them to succeed. The validation is nice, but if you haven't received it, you're going to be just fine. This is a chance for you to be that, to celebrate and do the things that the child wanted to do with the wisdom and the capacity that the adult has here. So that's why we have the two of these. The kid just kind of goes wild, but the adult knows exactly how to rein it in. She's kind of carrying the star like a kite, where the younger star, the younger sun here, is basically just, it's reckless abandon, right? So this is a chance for you to have a little bit of fun, but eventually you're going to rein it in and figure out what you're going to do about it. But if you haven't given yourself a chance to do something for yourself, do it. If it's been difficult, I see a very bright horizon for you, and you can and you will get there. That's the record that you're going to put in your head. You can, you will, you are. I can, I will, I am, if it's you saying it to yourself. So I'm excited about this. One thing that the Sun card in reverse needs to be careful of is sometimes being boastful. So being humble is good. Sometimes focusing so much on oneself that you're not tuning into others. So it may be someone around you, it could be you, but focusing on balancing out what you're doing and what's going on in your life with what someone else is doing. If you've been pushed down, then it's your time to shine and to speak up. But try to keep that in check, and if other people need to be in check, that it can be a conversation to have as well. But the Sun card is great. The Sun and the Magician basically are charismatic cards, and they're magnetic in the way that people get very attracted to your positivity. So I want you to shine and have some fun. Okay, now let's focus on, there's another card of some work that needs to be done here when we're looking at how you're showing up. Trust issues are playing a really big role. This card popped up in the monthly bonus reading that I did. It's one of the funnier Seven of Swords because that bird in the front is not having any of it. So here's the thing, you're not gonna, if someone in your life is trying to get away with something, you're gonna see it. If you try to get away with something, someone is going to caw and basically say, wait a second, you said you were gonna do this and you did this. So accountability is paramount right now. So first piece of advice is do what you say you're gonna do. Hold other people to be accountable just like that. Trust is key. Know that you don't need to live in fear. Trust your instincts. Trust what you see and feel. Ask a question if you need to. And if someone is acting up and doing something that they shouldn't, call them out on that. Say it's not acceptable. Ask them if they're ready to commit to whatever it is. And if not, then disconnect with that energy and connect with someone who is. Okay, that's it. That's all the Seven of Swords needs us to do. Pay attention to something and fix it. And also trust ourselves. And if someone isn't acting right, to call that out. It's checking and balancing things, but it will be okay. The main thing here is if something isn't right, it's going to come out. It's going to be seen. So don't worry, but do focus on your accountability. Don't overextend is what I would say with that, for sure. That's why the Seven of Swords and the Ten of Swords are very similar. The Seven of Swords, sometimes we we can be kind of fooling ourselves and others and saying, yeah, I'll make it work, or yeah, we'll hang out, and you never intend or never find a way to make it happen. And so it's sort of like a white light that ends up blowing up, and you don't want that to happen either. Okay, because everything else is super bright, but I will call out any potential pitfalls as I see them. Hanged Man is a wonderful card and very connected to the energy of the written word, which I talked about. So on that same Eight of Pentacles card, I could have also put the Hanged Man because I was talking about the power of runes. And this card is all about Odin discovering the secret of the runes, which was not just language, but also magic. So what does it mean in your life? In the environment where this card is, it means you feel stuck. It could mean that you feel like your feet are dragging in a certain goal that you're trying to accomplish. The universe is stepping in and saying, wait a second, I'm pausing you because either you haven't learned everything, you're missing something, or what you want to do, it's not the best thing, and I'm waiting for you to find something else. So it's not punishment, it's encouragement to look around and to integrate, absorb, observe, and then act. So it just wants you to take a step and be thoughtful, and to realize that if not this, then something better. It's never saying that you can't have what you want. This isn't maybe the best or the maximum that you can get. So the universe puts this in like on a DVR when you hit the pause, it's saying, wait a second. Make sure you got everything, rewind if you need to, and then move forward. All right. You're discovering your light this month. The possibilities card, hopes, fears, and possibilities, is the Hermit. Let's look at this Hermit in the upright and close up. So the interesting thing here is the lantern's back here. Now the person, it's almost like they're levitating, but it looks like they're sitting at the top of the hill. The light is within. And that's always what the Hermit discovers is kind of, I used this metaphor the other day, it's like the Wizard of Oz. All the things that you think you need to go out there and search and find in the world, you actually just need to create or discover it within. Once you have that, then the world shows it to you externally too. So be it, then see it. It would be the little mantra for that. And when you are able to become or embody that, then it's everywhere. Learning is the same way, and I've talked about this before. Whenever you're expanding your vocabulary, if you learn a new word, suddenly you hear it on the radio, you see it on a billboard, someone uses it in a sentence. It was always there, folks. You just weren't tuned into the frequency of the word. Now it's everywhere. The same thing happens when you sort of discover something new. It's sort of like, oh, it's everywhere in nature, or it's everywhere in your journey. It was always there, now you see it. So once you can embody it, you're going to see this sort of energy picked up in the world around you. It's kind of an interesting thing with the universe. And the way that we view it's like the glasses, we have different lenses. So once we add something to our glasses, we can see a little bit more. And ultimately, this is you, and this is a beautiful energy to come through for you too. So we have the star here, and it's saying shine and embrace and be yourself this month. This is going to be a really, really great opportunity for you to expand. So this star card actually, again, it reminds me of a kite. A kite requires, thankfully, air to go, and your air. So what is necessary for you is speaking it into action. So someone may be waiting for you to ask them out. Someone at work may not realize that you want an opportunity until you say, I'm interested in this. How can I apply? So it can be that simple, speaking it. And then it could also be a requirement of action, which is also swords. So doing something to create that action, speak it, do it, writing it, signing a contract. So you're being required or being encouraged to do something to kind of accomplish that 10 of Swords. So it's going to be a combination of all of those. And then feeling really comfortable in your skin. So don't ever simplify, negate, or self-deprecate. Especially not this month. So if you're going into a restaurant and it's a table for one, if they say it's just you, say it's me. Yes, a table for one. It's not just me, it's me. Never say it's just me. It's you. Or never start a conversation on the phone or at work with this may sound far out, or this may I don't have a lot of experience here, but here's my thoughts. Stop it. Just say, I have an idea. What do you think of this? Even better, don't even ask for what do you think. Say, I have a really cool idea I'd like to share with you. Here's my thoughts. just drop it. Drop the mic and then see what they have to say. Don't add extra things that don't need to be there. And it's usually us trying to protect ourselves from rejection by putting the rejection in the statements. That's not you this month. You're powerful. You're strong. Say it, do it, observe. Say it, do it, and then pause a little bit and see how people react. Because we had the Hanged Man there. Great speakers do that. They have pregnant pauses. They don't use filler words. They don't apologize for what they're trying to say or do. They simply share their ideas. And so this is how you can reach your power this month, at least in communication. Let's look at your expanded forecast. We're going to take a look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. Each is multifaceted. Each will carry some very important messages. So we'll take a look at it. By the way, if you haven't already subscribed, please do that. All right, so quick disclaimer on health. I am looking at energy. I'm a tarot reader, I'm a medium, I'm an intuitive, and so what we're going to be doing is taking a look at energetic channels in your life. If you're going through anything physically or mentally and you need help, work with the appropriate professional. That being said, let's look at the energy. You got 2 cards this month when we looked at your health. So I love the starfish, but we'll wait first. The first one that came through was the armadillo and setting healthy boundaries. It's kind of like what we were talking about with these 2 10 cards. This is because you're in high demand. This is because you're trying to please. So, and this is really the decision. Yeah, I'll do this, but I can't do that. And that's what this armadillo spirit is bringing forth. Card was reversed, makes sense. It's difficult for some of us. We might be in the hiding phase since armadillos have all of that tough shell on the exterior. Some of you might be also be trying to overcome that sort of hermit energy, which is, I'm afraid of rejection, or I'm afraid of all of this attention. So this is really asking you to find like an inner peacock spirit where you're just willing to be yourself, show what you need to show, and then get back to work. So enough said with that. Boundaries are really, really important. Health, it's literally right there. Healthy boundaries. This will help you from burning out. Underneath this, we have a recovery card. The starfish can represent so many things. It's a star, so you're the star. This is you. It's an ace of pentacles because stars are pentacles, so it's an opportunity. It's also restorative and a self-repairing energy. Some, but not all, sea stars are capable of, I should say most but not all, are capable of regeneration. So if they lose one of their arms, or if they're split at just the right point in the middle, they can regenerate that arm or regenerate the half of them that is missing. It's an amazing capacity. I wish we could do the same, right? If something's broken, just the bone heals immediately, or if you lose a finger or a limb, you could just grow it back. So what it's saying, though, in a more figurative sense is, when you lose someone, something, or a part of your life that you thought was just everything, you have a capacity to rebuild and regrow in ways that you didn't think. So this happens especially when breakups happen and you've been with someone for years or decades. That becomes a part of you energetically, and then the detachment from that is a loss. It's a physical loss. It's an energetic loss. When you quit a job, when you move, you reset energetically, and you have to find your footing again, and you have to grow and stretch. And if you've lost anyone in your life, you know what I'm talking about too, because it takes, months or years, but you find yourself again. You're not the same as you were before. In some ways you may be stronger, you may feel or look different, but you are complete again, even without that thing that was at one time essential. So ultimately, I see this ability for you to rebuild this month. And that makes a lot of sense. The 10 and the Tower, 10 of Swords and the Tower, break things down to their core elements so that we can go through and create again. And many of you are already taking steps in that direction, okay? So yeah, star and starfish and a star again. Stars everywhere. You're a star, to use the British phrase, Aquarius. You definitely are a star. All right, looking at other health messages. Balance can actually be important in both the Tower and the Two of Pentacles. So this can be work-life. I often look at it as resource balance. But since we got two balance or, sort of like imbalance cards, I should say, I really want you to focus on how much you're sleeping and eating, and more importantly, if there's any inner ear issues, absolutely go to the doctor for any and all of the above. But this can be losing your balance or having, vertigo. And there are so many different causes of that, none of which I am going to really go into here. I'm just going to say work-life balance is key, and then if there's balance issues, go to the doctor. Some of you may be trying to get pregnant, and this is a good sign for that. Could be twins. And some of you might just be exhausted, and so the 10 of Swords can be chronic pain or exhaustion. I didn't even talk about chronic pain in the daily because I only have like 50 seconds after I do my intro. So with this, I would say one of the things that you want to do is to focus on doing something like chiropractic adjustment, massage therapy, physical therapy, whatever your body needs to take care of it. I just had a chiropractic adjustment this week and I feel brand new. I can actually turn my neck again. Sometimes that gets really tight. So if you need to take care of yourself, take care of yourself. It's worth the time and energy. Some of you need to stretch and move a little bit more. Yoga is a great way to do that. Just walking in general, and getting outside. Those are the things that I'm looking at. Be honest with yourself. Many of you know what you need to shift and change, but until you're ready to make the change, it's not going to happen. So this is just a reality check. Otherwise, the cards are pretty good. Whatever has happened, it feels like you are already dealing with the biggest issue. Now it's just a decision of I'm ready to do something to make a change. So acceptance and then moving forward is what I see. Okay, looking at wealth. Yay for the rabbit. The rabbit is cool in so many different levels. First of all, it can be the magician, because the magician pulls a rabbit out of a hat, right? It's the Queen of Pentacles. There's a white rabbit by her throne, usually. It can also just be abundance. Rabbits reproduce pretty quickly. I want to see all of these things in wealth. Magic, the magician, the ability to manifest. Queen of Pentacles, the ability then to sustain what you've manifested. And then the abundance that's carried with that, saying, I can do this again too. So it's expanding. It's good. It's great, actually. Some of you may be in a point where you're stretched thin. You're taking a penny and trying to stretch it a bit. What I see here is you have a chance to step out. And the main thing for you to do is to say, I can't do this, or I want to do this, or I need more. Oliver Twist, can I have some more? But not in a sort of apologetic way, in a more decisive way. This isn't enough to get what we need to have finished. So either we add something, or I need to let this go. And if you're doing a lot and you're doing it for free, or you're being undercompensated or underappreciated, this is fighting for proper compensation and proper getting that abundance in your life. And some of you may need to just move on, move out, move up. You can check that weekend collective that I did with that topic to help you with that. I think the trickiest thing that I'm looking at when it comes to work is protecting ideas and protecting yourself. So the Seven of Swords, it's coming through for you. So there could be someone, even though this is the environment, this could still be someone around you, or it could be an aspect of your personality. So again, don't overpromise. Do what you say you're going to do. And if there's someone around you that you don't trust, don't share your ideas. Protect things. Get legal protection for whatever it is that you might need to protect. So that could be a patent, a trademark, a copyright. Usually copyrights are already in effect once you've written something, but you want to check the rules of whatever country you're in. And then also maybe there's something like a non-disclosure, additional sort of protections that you can have. So definitely protect yourself. You're not necessarily at risk. It's just something that you want to make sure that you're doing your due diligence with. Okay? I think that some of you, you're being asked right now to pause before going on to the next thing. So another piece of advice that I would give my younger self is, before you apply for the next job, before you date the next person, just take a minute, pause a little bit, and think, what have I learned? Was this good? What do I want next? And is this person, or is this place, or is this job adding or subtracting from things? Am I going in a positive trajectory? Am I just repeating that record? Okay? But ultimately, again, just to end on this, abundance, fertility, the ability to manifest, and the ability to sustain what you manifest. We like the rabbit quite a bit. Okay, sorry. Looking now at health, wealth, now we're going to love. All right, so love, we got a couple of cards coming through for love. So the first one is the return, and I think it was actually reversed. So I'm just going to take one at a time. So we have the return, and it says, Own your own mastery. So some of you might be finally going back and doing something that you said you were going to do. This could be getting your GED, it could be going back to school, it could be something that you've always wanted to explore, but you've never really given it time. We see the North Star up here in the corner, and we see someone being led to that stellar energy. The card is in reverse, so some of you may have put others first in your life. This is probably especially true for those of you that were a parent, for instance, and you were putting your children first. Once they've gotten well on their way, you get a chance then to make sure that you're not missing out on some of the things that your soul still wants to do. It's not all or nothing. I think it's actually setting a good example for children when you continue to take care of your career, your health, your life in general, when you have a good active social life. It shouldn't be 100% dedication only to children. They are incorporated into the family unit, and they get to be included in these things, and they also get to see how you balance and make choices, how you balance your money, how you balance your schedule, how you can still be a whole person and be a great parent. It's not all or nothing. Same thing in a relationship. You don't lose yourself in the relationship, you partner up. So that's what I'm seeing there. You're gonna do great. Make the grade with flying colors. Remember, you sign up for this. That's your soul energy coming through saying, on a soul level, this was one of the milestones you set for yourself. You owe it to yourself to do it and to complete it and to go back and feel really good about the fact that you're not going to have to return to this life to learn this lesson again. Okay, so a couple of notes on self. We focus on our own relationship with ourself and with our life before I look at the other people in your life. So now we're going to expand it. I'm going to take a look at those of you in a relationship, looking for a relationship, or single and happy. If you're in a relationship, some of you have been through things. What I really like is that we see a core soul connection here with the star and the sun. We also see a strong family unit. But what I'm also looking at here is communication challenges, that one of you is having a hard time focusing. The other person might be really focused on themselves, and it's difficult to communicate when one person is making it about themselves, when one person can't communicate or get their thoughts across. So I see some work. The foundation seems a little shaky for some, not all of you. And it really borders around communication and maybe where one of you is at in your life. One is on the rise, one is in a developmental state. We're not always going to have two rising stars. Sometimes, the frequencies are shifting a bit. So you want to be there for the one that's doing well, and the other one, you're supporting each other. I'm happy for your success. I also need some help with this. There's no jealousy. There's no better or worse. There's just balancing it. That's the balancing act for some of you, is figuring out how to celebrate and how to support. And I think that's at the core. Like in the best relationships, there might be one person that's doing just a little bit better. They're on a little bit of a rise, and the other person has to focus on how they feel about that and finding a way to be peaceful with that. Miscommunication or misunderstanding, or someone said something and they're holding a grudge, that's one of the things you want to focus on too. Chronic pain, chronic fatigue. Also, there could have been a loss or a physical sort of issue that went on where you had an injury, and this is recovery. We do see full recovery here, or a really good trajectory. So just being supportive. That's the key thing for existing relationships, is support. Because when I look at the core energy here in the deep past, which would be sort of like the roots in the trunk of the tree, it's not stable. So we need to focus on adding some stability there. If you can do this, I like what I see in the future. Again, I see one person stubborn and one person not communicating, or one person not listening. Someone may not have also held up their end of the bargain. So a conversation needs to be had for some of you, and that's the main thing. This could also be in the external energy. Let's say the two of you are peachy, everything is good. There could be someone that's like, one of you is dealing with difficulty at work, burnout. The other one could be dealing with a friend or family member that lied or didn't do what they said they were going to do. So there's a couple things in the environment or the periphery that could be going on, even if the two of you are really solid. So you might have to support one another through some of these environmental challenges. Again, with the future and outcome looking really bright, I have good and positive thoughts about how you could deal with all of that. Okay? For those of you that are looking for love, well, I feel like the first thing that you need to do is balance out your life. Everything here is about balance. So you might be working too hard, you might have unrealistic expectations, you might be afraid of rejection, you're projecting fear out there, there may have been a really sort of difficult relationship and you're on the rebound. Whatever is going on, focus on balancing yourself out. Maybe you just need more work-life balance or more money. Whatever you're trying to manifest, let's get that going first. Once you are solid and shining brightly, the other person finds you. But you have to find yourself first. Nobody else can fill the void for us, and we can't fill someone else's void. So I want a star and another star to attract each other. We don't want a black hole. So your focus is going to be on being luminous, being bright, getting everything where it needs to be so that you can have that twin star partnership. And it will be very, very easy to identify. This person is charming, attractive, and has the traits that you're looking for, and they're very interested in you. So it's an easy connection. You may be impatient. You may start to think that it's not going to happen. Don't project fear into this. It doesn't need to be there. So trust yourself, trust your instincts, and be willing to wait a little bit if you need to, because the higher the bar, sometimes it takes a little bit because you're putting more filters on all the potential partners. The main thing, though, is cleaning up your life. We're going to now focus on people that are single and happy. That's where I feel the most growth can happen. We actually have at the core the 10 of Pentacles. So this 2 is more of an illusion than anything. So you can easily get to like 8 of Pentacles. We'll subtract this from this, and I'll say it's pretty easy for you to get to the 8 of Pentacles quickly once you make a choice. And I think that healing the body is good. Making some choices in your life that you can live with, that the 2 7s need to balance each other out. And then when you're least expecting it, I actually see a great opportunity happening. This could be business, this could be love, this could be something else. But no matter what it is, the Sun is a good card. And so I'm happy about where you're all headed. To that end, let's jump to your destiny card, which you're constantly creating. We have becoming. Amen to that. So that's why we're always using an active form of to be. I am. I am becoming that which I seek. I am doing this. I am. So use the I am statement to what it is that you want to manifest. I am ready to see this, even if you don't see it. And I am creating this, and I am attracting this. I'm looking for this. I'm going to find this. So try to put as much I am in your thoughts as you can so that you can be active in the state of manifestation rather than longing or being frustrated. Okay? And it is happening. It's becoming. It's starting to, life is being breathed into it. All right? It's a beautiful read, by the way. There's a couple of challenges, Aquarius, but they're in the past. If I'm going to get cards like 10 of Swords in the Tower, I want them in this section of the reading. Everything here is quite nice. And again, all of these cards have a similar energy to it. Even this, we see the halo around the head, the nimbus. So we see light starting to form in all the ones that matter. A little bit of self-doubt, a little bit of lack of trust, but you can overcome that if you need to. All right, let's transition to the big idea. One thing to focus on to help you find your power, to help you get in the right trajectory. Page of Cups. We love this. All right. What I like with the Page of... There's 2 things with this card. First of all, sky's the limit. We see elevated thoughts, and we see the heart energy going up there. We see a pig flying, which means sometimes you have to reach for the impossible. You never know how much of it you can accomplish. So I love that. I also like the fact that the Page is actually kind of grounded here. We see... It's almost like we're seeing him looking at the potential of where he's at, but he's also grounded on this plane. So it could either be the Page attracting someone, or it could be the Page looking at himself going to great heights. It's like the Postal Service, such great heights, right? So this brand new kind of horizon that he's going to. With that, try not to lose your head. I think sometimes when great stuff happens in our life, we can let it go to our head, or we can get head over heels, or in this case, heels over head, over something that's going on. So keep your grounding, but keep reaching for the impossible, and do celebrate the accomplishments that you had. All right, we do see love coming in. This is very, very positive for those of you that are trying to find it. So we see the little heart symbol in the background. We see someone reaching out. And one thing that's necessary for you to attract love, using the I am worthy of love in its highest forms. I am ready to receive love and abundance in the highest forms. And I love who I am too. You have to accept yourself. I am love. Because if you want to find love, you have to be love. And to be love, you have to love yourself, and you have to love people unconditionally around you. So if you're fortunate enough, my dog's in the other room right now because he needs his puppy time. But pets are a great source, or animals in general are a great source of unconditional love. So if you're lacking that in your life and you know someone that has a great cat or dog or pet, go spend some time with them. That pet will love you and hang out with you, and you can get some of that energy. For some of you, your partner, your child, or your parent may also be a source of that unconditional love. Give them a hug today. And say I love you. That's one thing that I learned, and I'm so happy that I did that a lot with my mom before she passed, and even with my dad too. I expressed my feelings, and so I don't have this sort of doubt of, so even with my dog, I say I love you every day. He's getting older as we speak, so you have to express that, and I spend more time now with him than I used to. He's about 7 years old now, because he was a rescue. So spend time with the people you love and say that you love them, and celebrate every moment. Every moment counts. Okay, so enough with that. Let's focus on blessings and blocks. We'll bring Apollo up at the end again. He hangs out in another room. He has another bed there. Sometimes if I'm talking too loud, it kind of makes him nervous. So he's like, I'm getting out of here. That's your blessing, which we talked about, which is cool. And this is your block. Okay, so let's begin with your blessing. So I'm super happy the Queen of Pentacles came through. We don't see the rabbit in this deck. While we're talking, I'll pull the traditional card, and then we'll talk a little bit about this one. So Queen of Pentacles, birthing. So one thing that's important right now is to understand that you have the capacity to create, to birth, to nurture something that you want to put out into the world. So if it's a project, if it's a new version of yourself, whatever you're trying to put out there, this is your opportunity to release it. Also, if you are worried, is this going to last? This good luck streak, for instance. The Queen of Pentacles is saying yes, because you've created it. This is a part of you. Yes, it's going to last. Here we go. And here is the traditional illustration where we also see fertility and abundance. So as I said, the rabbit is the totem that you're always going to see on a traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card. It's a little bit hard. Sometimes it's a white rabbit. In this case, it's a brown rabbit, so it blends in a little bit. I'm using the Radiant Rider-Waite, so this is actually a little easier to see than the traditional one where it really blends in. They did a better job of shading and gradients in this. But she loves what she's doing. See how she's looking at that coin with reverence? She loves it. So you need to love what you're doing, loving yourself as well. And the reversal of this card is saying, I'm taking care of me in this moment, and I'm not apologizing for that because I matter. This is probably my favorite sort of like illustration of a queen and a Queen of Pentacles, because she is so confident, she is unbothered, and nobody's going to take away her shine, basically, and I love that. So she's saying, I know who I am, I know what I want, and I'm going to do this. And I'm not accepting no for an answer. Such power in this Queen of Pentacles. So that's what you have the chance to do, is to emanate that queen-like energy right now. Rein it in, and then reign supreme. Two different spellings of reign, but let that sort of shine, okay? Your block this month is balance. We have the Page of Swords here, but she's on a balancing act here, basically. The sword is what she's walking across, but this is where the lack of balance could be. We see so many things flying around her. We got the birds, she's carrying the book, she's got these ideas, and she's not looking at where she's going. So multitasking to the point of like craziness this month could be part of it. The page is also so busy that they could be missing a message, going straight into not just this illustration, but a traditional read of the card. With the Page of Swords, you have to listen. And this page is not listening. She is reading, she is focusing, she's looking at other things, but she's not picking up on what's going on around her. Very full, like the Fool energy that's coming through here. Jumping before thinking, speaking before thinking, or overanalyzing something. So I want you to, this is the reason that the Hanged Man came through. Slow it down a step or two and look at what's going on around you, look at where you're going, focus. If you do that, you're fine. It's still a page upright, which is positive, but she's not listening, and that's the block. Okay. Focusing now on the viewer's and the reader's choice. I love this part because we both get a chance to dig a little bit deeper and look at something. Okay. Let me grab the keyboard here. Let's take a look at the cards. Let's do this view. Okay. And I'm going to give you a chance to vote. So just a moment here as I set this up. All right. Thank you so much for all the stickers, by the way. I will say thank you at the very end. All right. So viewer's choice. Let's take a look at here. So the first thing that I want to look at or suggest that we look at, actually, I'm going to do this as reader's choice because we really need to focus on healing. So I'll help you through the healing because we can't ignore that. I'm going to put up for consideration resource management. What goes? Literally what goes, what stays, but what's going to go? What do you need to let go of? What should you focus on? It kind of goes hand in hand with that, but let's clearing your mind. That's a better way to put it. Finding focus. Okay. Being the star. So embracing star energy. Really, it's visibility. And let's see if there's anything else. I'll make it hard on you guys, and maybe you'll choose to if you want me to. Sustaining abundance. We'll put creating and sustaining abundance. All right. If you give me two that are close, I'll read for both of them. But you can look at any one of those. Those are all really good choices. I'm going to take a screenshot because some of those are also even good for weekend options. So I like them. All right, so let me go ahead now and take a look at the reader's choice. And today's reader's choice is going to be the difficult cards. I always like to make sure that we don't miss it. There are 3 difficult cards here, but I'm going to focus on the Tower and the Ten of Swords. They work together. So what is it that you need to focus on with respect to either fixing or going with the flow or recovering after? The card will tell us where the energy's at. Woohoo! We got the Ace of Cups, which we love. So as I said, change happens for a reason. You are intended to find something that makes you happier. By the way, look at this Ace of Cups. There's all these little fireflies or stars behind her. I love it. So I've never really noticed that, especially in the background. It looks like galaxies. I've been geeking out with all the images that we get from the Webb telescope that's currently taking pictures of all, not even just distant galaxies. They just did one of Jupiter the other day, and I tweeted out how I always see green, and we saw the aurora on that, but they're showing a lot of the different galaxies out there. So limitless potential is what I'm picking up here when we're looking at the galaxy energy. And the Ace of Cups is saying, all I need to do is reconnect to to loving who I am or what I want to do. That energy of love in my life will reinvigorate me, will be an act of creation. When you lose the sort of passion or the love or that connection to the heart, then things start to break down. So for some of you, you needed to go through this because in the Ten of Swords, we learn to respect ourselves. You hurt me, and I'm not going to let that happen again. The Tower comes through because things are messy and chaotic and not sustainable. And you think to yourself, I don't like this. I need to clean up the mess. I need to do something else. When you walk away from the pain, when you make the necessary changes within, then you are maybe happier than you've ever been in your life, because having come through those energies, you truly appreciate peace, tranquility, love, acceptance. And so I see this as the best rebound possible, a big rebound for you. And even if you haven't gone through like a punctuated Ten of Swords or Tower, just some changes, just some shifts. What I see is the energy of September being so nice and so bright and so passionate for you that you're just going to naturally find a way to vibe. So it's a time to rebuild and to shine. All right, let's take a look and see what you chose for me. So we just have a clear winner on this one. It's embracing the star energy and visibility in particular. Some of you may be shy and you might be thinking to yourself, you know, can I do this? What will people think? How will I deal with what they say and do, etc., etc. So let's take a look and see how you can deal with increased visibility. So I love the Queen of Wands as well. Typically, I think she's one of the most powerful ones. Like, this Queen of Pentacles is amazing. But generally speaking, I kind of prefer the traditional. She has the black cat, which is good. I want to see the sunflower, but she's basically got the fire in her hand, so I'll take it. And she's using the wand actually as like a magician. So this is a cool illustration too. I take it back. The Queen of Wands is amazing because she is able to make things work on the fly. She can fake it and make it. So for those of you that are put on the spot and someone says, hey, I need you to do this, you will be able to do it. If you are applying for something and you think to yourself, I got the job, but there's the imposter syndrome setting in and you think, but do they really know who they hired? Am I going to be able? Yes, they know who they hired. And they see potential. A lot of times people see the growth potential, not just where you're at, but where you're going to go because of your personality and education and energetic traits. So what she does is she owns everything that she is and then amps it up an extra. She turns it to 11, basically, when people didn't even know 11 existed. So that's what you can do with Queen of Wands. You find it even if you didn't know you had it. And you find it when you need to find it. Have you ever noticed that this happens in life? If you need to, it's kind of like an adrenaline rush, right? If you have to suddenly get up real quick and get yourself ready in 5 minutes and get out the door, you can do it, where normally it would take half an hour or an hour. If we need to do something quickly or if we need to do something well, we will dig into the past life memories. We dig into all of our present life memories. And we find it somehow. So you're going to be fine. And you are meant to lead. This is a leadership card. So you can do this. Expression and demonstration are just as important as the words. So all of Wands is powerful sometimes in not saying, but maybe just showing it, doing it, being it. So that's where your power is. You don't have to validate it in words. And you don't have to actually answer every question that people are answering or asking you. Rather, you can just sort of like pick and choose. Silent, when you do speak, it's important. So picking and choosing words. And because we kind of picked up on that Ten of Swords energy, I think that we all learn that less is more when it comes to certain forms of communication. So just show it, just emanate it, and that's how you're going to be able to step into star energy. Okay? Also, when we look at like a celebrity on the red carpet, that's what they're doing. They're acting, they're projecting, they're posing, and we can learn a lot from the ability just to step out and you're stepping into a persona, basically. So that's my advice here, is just own it and pretend like you're going on the red carpet, and you'll be okay. It's your moment to shine. All right, let's get into the next portion. If you just joined, by the way, we've basically gotten to the 3/4 point. We're going to look at the sun, rising, and moon messages next. And this gives us a chance to sharpen up those parts of the chart, basically. So you can always watch this for any aspect of your chart, including like Venus, for instance. But I like to especially look at sun, rising, and moon because that's what I look at. That's what most astrologers would recommend that you focus on, because it gives you a good round view of your life. So let's, without any further delay, pull the cards and see the messages. So for the person, I'm going to pause. Someone's giving me a hard time about the silence. I don't necessarily mean silent treatment. I think what you could do is wait. So if there's communication and someone's just talking and talking and talking, and it's exhausting, just pause. Let them get it all out, and then say, all right, I have some thoughts. Can I speak now? That is a lot more powerful than trying to talk over them. And if someone's being rude to you, sometimes just not responding to it is more powerful than dignifying it with a response. So in case it was misconstrued, silence is powerful. It is a form of communication, and it does have a time and a place, particularly if people are abusing the privilege of communicating with you. That's what I meant by that. So in case there was any misunderstanding with that, I don't mean silent treatment. I mean pregnant pauses. I mean disengaging with people that are not listening and redirecting your energy towards those that can. And then also showing them and using a different approach. Sometimes the words aren't enough. Sometimes you need a visual aid or data, all right? So just in case that wasn't clear, I wanted to clarify. All right, let's move on to sun, rising, and moon. Really great energies with sun, rising, and moon. Okay, let's begin with the sun sign first. We have the King of Cups. Guess what this has? I mean, you can't really make it up here. We've got so many stars today, but the King of Cups has a starfish. And what did we get in health? We got a starfish. And what do we have in your outcome? We have the star, and we have the sun, which is a star. So a lot of synchronicities here. King of Cups in reverse. So for my Aquarius sun, the most important thing for you to do right now is to focus on healing yourself. If you're dealing with way too much, if you're exhausted, give yourself time. If you need to talk to someone, by all means talk to someone, a friend or a professional, it doesn't matter. And also, once we kind of separate that piece from the equation, this is a really great card for channeling. So when we look at him in his upright and sort of most powerful position, he's sitting there, he's tapping into the creative well in front of him, and he's saying, oh, I see this, I feel this, I want to do this, I want to express this. So you have this ability in this period of time to tap into a creative flow and use your own energy as a filter, your own words, your own actions, your own art and expression, and you can share that with the world. So you're channeling things, it's coming through the heart space in a big way. And the main challenge when you are getting so many sort of like heart downloads is basically how to be the channel but not become beholden to all of that energy. So that's why self-care, talking it out, expressing it is going to be key. Art, dance, journaling, speaking, all of these are ways to get what's here and here out. The throat and the written words, so words and writing are very important, but dance is a form of that too. Somehow get this out there, okay? You have something to share, you need to share it, you have something you're feeling, you need to express it. And if you do that, things are going to be good. It's a great time for love. We got the King of Cups coming through here, so you're showing up in a great way, but this is a discerning card when reversed. People may be very attracted to you or be very demanding of your time and energy. So the King of Cups, much like the Queen of Pentacles, he has his eyes closed, he's focusing, he's deciding, and he's discerning. So there's a lot of meditative energy in these court cards in this particular deck. They're tuning in, they're looking this way, not with the eyes here. So there's a message there for all of you. Moving now on to Rising and Ascendant, we have the Ten of Cups, more love, more community. This is a nice match to the Ten of Pentacles. The only thing we didn't get this month was the Ten of Wands. We got all the tens. What I like with this is we see relationship harmony. And we see that it could also be platonic or a non-traditional relationship. Whomever and whatever it is that you're looking for, you have a great chance of finding that which you seek. But I like that we see the musical notes and all of these cups here. Create your own special, it's a mamas and papas song, right? Make your own kind of music, right? Go your own sort of way. So yeah, make your own music, make your own energy. This is going to be a good month for you. It's a super attractive card. I'm not talking about it's beautiful. I'm saying like lovers, Two of Cups, Ten of Cups, Star. First of all, the Star is like the most magnetic one, but attractive or magnetic. So I see you really vibing well with groups this month. So when it comes to coworkers, even family members, loved ones, love interests, I should say, anyone that you're trying to connect with, and little Apollo's coming in because we're talking about love, you have a good chance of vibing with. Want to say hi to everybody? Come here, buddy. Let's say hi to the folks here. So in honor of the Ten of Cups, we have a little furry assistant on this one. All right, so yes, open yourself up to love and allow yourself to kind of express and explore and feel all of that a little bit more. And the last thing I would say is when it comes to new opportunities, you may be able to experience more or learn more in a group than on your own. Is that right, buddy? I'll let you down. All right, so that's my little fur family coming through and saying hello because we have the Ten of Cups. All right, we were just looking at rising. Now we're going to move on to moon sign messages. For the moon, oh, by the way, one last thing before I look at moon. Sun, rising. So for the rising, this can also be chosen family. And for those of you that, may not have any more relatives that are living, this can be you connecting with people and creating this new sort of chosen family in your life. Now let's go to the moon. All right, for moon, your patience is being tested a bit, but temperance is great. Notice the angelic wings behind them. There's usually an angel or the wings in this card. What we do see in this one is the message that the sooner you learn the lesson of balance, the sooner things come into focus here. We have the sun and the moon in this. Divine feminine, divine masculine energies also coming into balance. Taking the first step is all that's necessary. And then continuing to do that moment by moment, day by day, progress is made before you know it. And it's like when you make changes in your diet or exercise routine. You may not see anything for a month, but then magically, at the 5-6 week period or something, people start to notice it, or something doesn't fit anymore, or you just have more energy. When you make changes, they're slow at first, and then they're very noticeable. So I'm getting that sort of energy of transformation, but slow. It's not like a butterfly where the caterpillar goes into a chrysalis and then suddenly we have this, winged creature. We slowly create our wings and slowly evolve from one person or one point in our life to what we're trying to become. So be patient with yourself. You're being guided. Tune in. And that's the most important thing. You have help. You have guides all around you with this card. Okay? It's one of the few in the major arcana that have angels. I've talked about it before. The Lovers has the angel, Temperance has an angel, and you usually see an angel in Judgment. There may be more, but those are the main ones. So whenever that comes through, it's a really powerful card, and sometimes people miss the fact that there's guidance right behind you. So you're on the right path and you're being guided. Just tune in. Be patient. And now let's get ready for the final portion of today's reading. So I always like to wrap up with a final card. Before we do that, we enter into a meditation. The meditation has two parts. We'll focus on something. In this case, it's obviously going to be the star. We'll focus on the star energy, and then we're going to help you. I'll do a quick sound bath with my singing bowl, and then I'll look at your final card. Before I do that, if you joined in the middle and haven't subscribed and you're brand new, please do that before we meditate. You can follow me across my different platforms. Just click on the About page here on YouTube too, and all the links are there if you need to find it. And if you'd like to give back, you're welcome to do so. It's optional, but it helps. And if you want to become a member, I have a Q&A video coming up, and there's a chance to submit a question before then, so you can do that as well. All right, with that being said, let's get into the meditation. So just get comfortably seated for a moment, and imagine yourself looking out at the beautiful starry sky. See yourself in a place where there is no obstructions. So maybe you're in the desert during the evening after the sun's gone down, where it's starting to cool off. You're sitting at the top of a hill or a rocky cliff or whatever, finding a place where it's comfortable, and you're looking out at the canyon in front of you. And you can feel this cool breeze coming in. You hear the sounds of coyotes in the background, maybe other sort of desert sounds as well. But what's great is that because you're away from the pollution, you're away from the city, you can see all the stars in the sky, including a little bit of the Milky Way, one of the arms of the Milky Way. And there's very few places on Earth that you can see that. You have to be very far north or in a desert or out of the city limits. So whatever works for you, but I'm feeling the vibe of the desert here. So connecting with that desert energy, close your eyes for a moment, just breathe in. And around you is we have the darkness around you, but you have all the light in the sky above you. So there's the energy of creation and possibility, and then there is the light. I want you first to find your star out there in space with your third eye. Find where the energy is at. And if you need to then use your physical eyes to connect to it, you can. See one of the stars in the sky shining brighter than any others. It can be part of a constellation, or it could be your own special star, one that you're creating just for this meditation. As you're honing in on that and homing in on that, I want you to start to see it grow brighter and brighter until it's almost as bright as the moon. And then feel almost as if you could reach out and touch that star. And in fact, in this meditation, you can. And as you do that, you bring that into your palm, and it's almost like you're bigger than life, looking at the universe, like you're the creator. I want you to realize now in this star seed that you can plant anything that you would like to see manifest. It could be something like abundance. It could be partnership. It could be general well-being and health. What is it that you want to create? Put it into the star seed, and then when you're done, put that star back into the sky so it can guide you each and every day. And as you place that star back into the sky with this intention, see it shining brightly upon you, and it's wrapping you in starlight, clearing out any misperceptions, misconceptions, any confusion, anything that's of a low frequency, only allowing love and light and energy in the highest form. Focus on that as I play the singing bowl, and then we will take a look at your final card. Take a few moments, come back into your body, bring your hands together, rub them together if you'd like to, feeling your light, your energy, sealing that starlight into your heart space, keeping an eye on that star as it guides you through the days and weeks to come. Take a few deep breaths. On the next natural exhale, open your eyes, and then we'll take a look at your final card. Okay, so think about what it is that you need some guidance on. Ask the question internally. Let's see what the cards have to show. Well, what a fantastic card to come through here. We've got the Ace of Pentacles as a yes-no. It's a simple and emphatic yes. The Ace of Pentacles shows a return on whatever it is that you're trying to create in your life. It's a very positive card. As you can see, it is a seed, and we just planted a star seed, so this is the card that I would hope to come through. Seeds need to be tended to. So once you plant a seed, you have to be accountable, and you have to go out there and water it. Same thing happens when we're trying to create something new in our life. We have to consistently work to improve, to grow, to learn, and to develop this thing. And as you do, it becomes bigger and better and stronger, and it eventually gives into this gigantic 10 of Pentacles, where we see a big ace with the tree of life on top of it and all these little pentacles all around it. So this is what you're working towards. It's what you kind of already have, but you're going to decide to create a new path. We never stop evolving. We never stop learning. So this ace is basically saying, okay, what's next? What's next on this journey for you? And hopefully some big things on the horizon for you. The Ace of Pentacles can be a new job, it can be promise and love, it can be a proposal, it can be an opportunity that's being presented or being pitched by you. So it can be presented to you or pitched by you. It's just good, it's opportunity. So of all the signs that I've read this month, Aquarius, where you're headed, it's brighter than a lot. So this is good, especially with the multiple stars that we got. And the ace here, when we're looking at this final question, I think you've got a lot to be excited about. You have a little bit you've got to work up and clean up with the Tower and the Ten of Swords, but it's bolstering you into a really great trajectory. So yay for that, okay? Hopefully I answered your question. One last reminder to subscribe if you've enjoyed what you've seen. Feel free to join me on social media. Always be mindful that I don't offer readings, private readings, I should say, or any services over DM. So ignore anyone that's saying that, block and report them. And I want to say thanks now. If you'd like to give back, you can still do that, but I'm going to take a moment now to thank everybody that's joined as a member. And while I pull up the membership tab, I want to start by saying thanks to everybody that's been with me for a long time, because I've been doing this for a while. And the channel's grown quite a bit over time. So thank you so much for that. All right, let's start off with newer returning members that just re-upped their membership. So I'd like to begin with Jeannie Hart. Thank you so much. I see you here all the time. You rejoined after 16 months. Much appreciated. Let's see here. We also have Shelly Hansen. So thank you, Shelly, for rejoining after 4 months. Cheryl Roth, after 12 months for rejoining. So we have a lot of folks that came back. 61 Sunny Day. Thank you so much for being a brand new member. And I think some of these other people are from yesterday. They are, because I said hello to them. So I think those are all the folks that joined either this morning or during the program today. So thank you so much. All right, for the folks that gave back in the way of a super sticker or super chat, give me a moment here and I'll say thank you. All right, so today, the very first person that kicked it off was Terry Talent. Thank you so much for your contribution. Halo Music. Terry Talent again, thank you for the 2 in a row. Lucy Rodriguez, Sherry Wolf. I'm glad that you guys are enjoying everything. Thanks for the positive comments. Isabel Sophia, thank you. Dominique, let's see, is it Sheila? Thank you so much. And I'm glad that you've shown up as well month by month. Mermaid Crystal, good for you. And like I said, take care of yourself. The 10 of Swords can indicate exhaustion. And so I still see good opportunities here with pregnancy with the Sun card, possibly twins. So be careful if that's not what you're looking for, but it could be a double blessing if you're open to that. Anyway, good stuff there. All right, Linda Ann, thank you. Kim Childs, thank you as well. Nina Early, Maria Barbosa, and Angel SG Shop, thank you. I think I got everybody. Brand new member here as we're wrapping up, Yadira, I think it is. Thank you very much and welcome to the family. Much appreciated. So, recap on what's coming through for the next few days. It'll be kind of busy for the next week or so. I actually put all of them up on the main channel page so you can set reminders. Sunday is going to be a collective. Monday will be Pisces. Thursday will be a milestone video. We're going to do a Q&A. So all the members and Patreon supporters, I'm getting more questions than I can probably answer in the video, but I can save some of those for shorts and for future videos and maybe even for the next milestone, but I'll try to do what I can. Try to limit it to like 20 to 30 of the best questions, but I'm going to pull from those 2 pools and I'll continue to let you ask questions up until about the day before. So you can look at those posts on the member tab. And then I'm going to do something short form possibly on maybe tomorrow, like a 7-minute one that I might pre-record and put out for tomorrow since we have, I believe it's a new moon. I'll double check that. But so keep an eye out on the channel. A lot going on over the next week. Thank you so much for your love and support. Also, Sarah, I saw that you just gave back, so thank you for your sticker. Okay, everyone, have a great day. Spend some time doing something that opens up your heart spend some time this month, doing something that allows you to shine, because we got all of those beautiful star cards. You're meant to do something that makes you stand out, okay? Until I see you again, wishing you the best, lots of love and light. See you soon. Bye-bye.